Okay, so it seems like recently there's been a little bit of a clip that's been going around, obviously, of Lumi talking about Twitter fans and how that can have effect on things in terms of VTubers. And I do think it's a very important kind of, thing to talk about, as VTweeters are a very large part of a lot of VTuber drama, right? Because we've covered many different situations on this channel of VTweeters, not even to do with FaZe Connect at all. It could be something completely different, where essentially if you don't know what they are, they either pose as a VTuber or a VTuber fan, and they don't create any content of their own, right? Usually it's the they pose as a VTuber, right? And they don't create any content. All they do is just post on Twitter, usually rage bait against one kind of audience, and that's about it, right? And obviously that can cause some drama, and that can cause a lot of problems, right? And it seems like recently Lumi has been speaking about some stuff that people have been talking about in terms of I think it was her model, and goes on to talk about Twitter fans, because they can become a little bit of an issue whenever it comes to situations, especially with the situations recently over at FaZe Connect. That obviously has been a very inflammatory time, and obviously there's been a lot of Twitter users talking about that too. So let's get into it and then we'll talk about it. Oh, I did. Okay, apparently space has worked.
Lumi! Okay, yay! Bring back Space Pirate, tell Fish to stop being difficult about it. What? How's he being difficult about it? Fish sacked it? Fish didn't do anything about it. I just don't use it so much.
And if you don't know the context, obviously Fish is Sakana, the CEO of FaZe. So just to make that clear, if you didn't know.
That's the old rigging. Guys, why do you just make shit up in your head? Since she's got full ownership, it's complicated. What? What are you talking about? What are you talking?
So these people are just kind of making stuff up in her chat, right? And I think it is pretty crazy, because obviously they're just doing it straight in front of her. You know, a lot of the time there'll be these little Reddit posts or Twitter posts where people will be like, oh yeah, she doesn't have ownership of this, or Sakana did this, or Sakana did that, right? And obviously, you know, the VTubers are like, whoa, hang on a minute, that's not the case at all. Which I do think is pretty funny, right? I think it's fair to keep it kind of objective and to what the VTubers are actually saying themselves, right?
I'm confusing new people as a trait. Please don't confuse new people as a trait about my boss, okay? Don't do that. Don't do that about my boss, because then, like, whenever anything happens, they go, they're gonna graduate and leave FaZe. No one's leaving FaZe. We really like FaZe. Okay? Please don't do that about my boss. You can spread information about me that's wrong. Don't do the stuff about Sakana. It's so fucking frustrating seeing people go, FaZe black cut. Like, it's so fucking annoying. He's probably one of the best bosses you could ask for in VTube.
And obviously, I feel like, I don't know when this video is uploaded. Obviously, go follow Low Effort Clips, by the way. They uploaded this clip. This is uploaded 3 days ago. So obviously, this is after all of the FaZe Connect stuff and all of the thing that went on with Jelly and Clara and all of that kind of thing. If you guys want to catch up on that, you guys can go back. We did cover all of that in separate videos. But yeah, there's been a strong sentiment towards FaZe Connect about them being a black company in a sense. And obviously, people just having a much more dislike for FaZe Connect and the owner, of course. And I can understand it, right? Because people weren't happy with how they dealt with things in terms of the Jelly situation. And again, I can understand there has been a very big backlash towards that. So obviously, I feel like a lot of this is kind of charged by that at the moment.
So don't shit talk Sakana, please. There's no issues with rights. I only got the Neon beat-on model after I joined FaZe, so it's technically it's been my entire tenure. So there's nothing like that. I just don't use it because the rigging is old, and I don't know if I can update it because I don't have the source files anymore. A lot of FaZe quote-unquote fans seem to not like the company or Sakana. It could be Twitter grifters though. It's just because they don't like companies. I don't know why people villainize companies so hard. I feel like it's been enough time. Like, people villainize.
I can 100% see why. I can 100% see why people villainize companies so much, because of course there has been so many situations in the VTubing space that have caused this to happen, right? And I think it's very obvious, right? We've had so many things from the Niji Sanji stuff with Doki Bird and all that kind of thing. That is one company that obviously went under a lot of fire and people are very unhappy with. And then we had the VShojo stuff, like, you know, about how long after? I don't even know how long after. But again, obviously we had the VShojo stuff where they ended up imploding. A lot of stuff got revealed. A lot of awful things got revealed, including obviously them stealing a ton of money and whatever. And of course, yeah, that has pretty much soured a lot of people's tastes in VTuber agencies, and it seems like there has been a big rise in indie VTubers. VTuber agencies are becoming less and less of a popular thing. People care less unless it is something as big as HoloLive or something like that. New, smaller agencies, people don't tend to like them as much, especially in the West. I feel like the West is much less VTuber agency focused and more indie VTuber focused. Whereas I think over in Japan, obviously they've got the HoloLives and all of that kind of stuff, Nijisanji and all of that kind of stuff. And I think people are a lot more kind of open to VTuber agencies because it kind of made sense at first. But I do think the era of the VTuber agency is kind of dying. Now, will it be gone completely in a couple of years? Probably not. There's probably always going to be some agencies out there. But I think the agencies themselves are going to get a lot of backlash. And of course, I think that is the case of, with FaZe Connect and many other VTuber agencies as well. Sometimes, you can have one talent kind of have some kind of situation and the company can deal with it poorly, and then that reflects badly on the entire company, right? And obviously when you have so many members, of course, that can also be a big issue, because of course the likelihood of this happening goes up the more members you have. The likelihood of an issue, of something where you could mess up, it goes up because you have more members. And obviously, it's up to them to deal with the situation correctly, and 9 times out of 10 they don't, right? 9 times out of 10 it ends up being a pretty bad decision. And obviously that is why VTuber companies and stuff are so hated, and people have a big negativity about them whenever anybody mentions something to do with them, right?
Is companies so hard? There's a lot of people who like to blame companies for everything, but they don't, I don't know if people realize that VTuber companies are not that, there's no corporate structure in them. So VTuber companies are built by both talents and the CEOs.
Some of them. I'm assuming she's just talking about FaZe Connect here. I think some of them are a little bit more built up, right?
Most CEOs are very involved with whatever talent decisions.
Yeah, most.
It's a group effort, and no decision gets put through without almost every talent speaking on it at least once. Every talent has say, okay? In VTuber companies, because they are not big companies, it's literally all the talents come together, we all talk, the CEO is there, all the staff is there, we all talk in a group. And we all have consensus, okay? Unless it's HoloLive, it's not gonna be your corporate whatever.
Or like Nijisanji or anything like that, right? Because obviously they also have a very similar kind of thing. I think the wording there, obviously she kind of saved it at the end with that kind of, unless it's HoloLive or something like that. Because of course she was saying VTuber companies. I think, of course, smaller VTuber companies, I would say, that don't have such a big roster and don't have this kind of big, corporate backing, whatever, corporate structure, as she says. Yes, there is that kind of element of the VTubers 9 times out of 10 have a say, but obviously we don't know what goes on behind the scenes, so you can't just attribute that to every VTuber company because you don't really know. You can't really make a definitive judgment on that, right?
Fantasy. And so whenever corporates die, and many have, everyone is sad. That's a lot of girls' homes. Companies have died, like Tsunderia has died, CyberLive has died, Kawaii has died. Those companies were home for a lot of girls. And when the companies die, for some reason, quote unquote fans go, yeah, fuck that company. It was so bad. The CEO made it awful. But the girls loved being there because that was home for them, okay? FaZe is home for us. So when people go, fuck that, fuck Sakana, it's this is where we live. We built this together. We don't want it to die. Because I put my heart into doing this stuff, and so did everyone else. Nobody's and if you want to leave, you can literally leave. It's literally a month notice, okay? It's really not that bad. If you want to leave, you can leave. Nobody's gonna stop you. This if you want to stay, we stay because we like it here. I don't know why people always forget that. Leaving a company as a VTuber is very different from leaving a company as a corporate drone. I've worked those jobs too, and you don't really feel bad leaving a big company with 400 employees or something. That's 37 people, and we talk on a daily basis. So it's very frustrating. It's so frustrating. The weird Twitter mob is so Bishoujo last year. I'm sure lots of people were heartbroken, and they can be yeah, it was bad, and things happen, but still, it's gonna be sad. You're gonna be sad for a while. It doesn't matter how bad it is. You lived there for a bit. Moving on doesn't feel good, okay? It never feels good. So don't make fun of Sakana like that. He tries really hard.
So yeah, obviously there she is defending Sakana and her company there. And I do think, you know, sometimes people have their own kind of opinions on companies and whatever, and how they're run from the inside. But I think it is important to understand that why some people are so hesitant whenever it comes to companies now, especially with the situations that we've had in the past, right? I think there is that little bit of understanding, which I think some people need to realize. But also I think there needs to be that understanding on the other side that, you know, also not every company is like this. But again, obviously, as I said, whenever a lot of the kind of behind the scenes stuff never really gets shown, there is always going to be that bit of skepticism from people that things maybe won't be okay behind the scenes or whatever. Like that. A lot of people saying, I love my black beans company, best coffee company. They're saying the replies to FaZe officials' tweets are filled with tourists and politispergs still crying about jelly over than a week ago. Only saw 4 on the Jong tweet. Guess they moved on or whatever. The outrage bait was next on the list. Good FaZe love. But luckily it's died down, but that encounter was depressing. Said I'm so tired when people were constantly trying to drag FaZe into the middle of their culture war, and then being upset about FaZe over it when they avoid joining, which again, you know, I can understand some different kind of aspects of that. I think with the jelly situation in particular, you know, I think FaZe definitely screwed up with the kind of statement and things, and I think it's okay to say that they screwed up with it and also be, you know, still fans of FaZe Connect, right? I think it's okay to point out their mistakes while also being a fan. But of course, I can understand why some people completely left over it as well. But again, it is a kind of mix, right? And a lot of people have been further commenting saying the comment section is just ignoring everything Lumi asked, and it's just and it's still stirring Twitter bullshit. It doesn't even matter what any talent, including Jelly, says at this point. It's going to take a while for this to blow over. So can we just move on from this nonsense already? Everyone involved just blew this way out proportion and made it way bigger than it had to be. Just watch your anime woman and stop getting your collective undies in a twist over a lukewarm PR statement. Which obviously, yeah, I do think, you know, it was a PR statement, but I think people are rightfully allowed to be kind of annoyed or whatever with this statement itself, especially if it was kind of worded in a pretty bad way, right? And I think that is okay. Now, of course, people dragging it out for months and months and months, you know, I think, you know, it's getting a bit old at that point. But people at the time, whenever it did go down, I think they were fully, you know, within their own right to be, you know, a little bit annoyed, a little bit upset, or a little bit kind of confused at the statement that they put out about Jelly. But yeah, obviously, there is Lumi talking about yeah, the Twitter fans and all of this kind of stuff, and essentially discussing some of the internal workings of a VTuber company, which I did think was pretty interesting at the end of the day. I do like Lumi. She seems nice. So again, obviously, you know, it's one of these things where, yeah, people are gonna be angry, people are not gonna be angry, and I think there are some reasons behind it, and some maybe some kind of nonsensical reasons behind it as well. But at the end of the day, it's gonna happen, and we're going to probably see more of it in the future, right? But yeah, I mean, that's about all I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code CASA, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. They've also got 20% off at the moment, so definitely do that. It ends at the end of the week, so just use the same code and you'll get 20% off. But yeah, that's about all I got. I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.